Hi, my name is Fatim Fazrumiti Zakaria. My ID number is DEM0719051. So today we're gonna talk about case study of Siti Nur Surya, which was famous and attract a lot of media and people to come out by a lot of opinion in the social media and internet. So let's take a look for the field notes, for the evidence and trauma and all of the topic. So we're gonna proceed to our first slide, which is field notes on 1 November 2020. On 8 a.m., Muhammad Zaid Azrul, the victim's 28 years old brother, sent porridge. On 8:30, his brother finished breakfast and he left home to go to work. On 9 a.m., Siti Nur Atira, the suspect and also Surya's former good friend, came to Surya's house. After finding it out the victim's daily routine. There was a fight between them before the suspect used a vegetable cutting knife in the living room.
She stabbed the victim's hand,
Face, neck, and chest repeatedly until Surya's left wrist was severe and broke. On 1:45 p.m., the victim's younger sister, which is Siti Nurliana Shohada, called her sister repeatedly because she did not seem to pick her up as she usually does. When she found no sign and no answer from her sister, Liana returned to her house because the distance between the school and the house was only 2:50 p.m. After arriving home, Liana saw her sister lying on the living room of the house, covered in blood and broken ribs. Thought her sister was electrocuted because she found her sister lying down.
in a state of fear, trauma, and sadness.
She left home and immediately contacted her father and brother to report the tragedy that befell her at that time. On 2:30 p.m., her father returned home and found her daughter Surya had died at the scene. The rice porridge bought by the brother was not disturbed, and his wife's disposable diapers have not been changed. Surya's father lodged a police report on what happened to her daughter, and an investigation was conducted in the case. Surya's body was sent to Sultanah Nur Zahira Hospital, HSNZ, for autopsy. The forensic police team found the suspect hair in Surya's hand, blood sample, and fingerprint at the scene. Surya's body was safely buried at the Kampong Beladau Salat Islamic Cemetery. For 2 November 2020, on 7:30 a.m., the suspect was present at the Telemong police station, accompanied by her mother. The suspect was questioned by the police during the investigation regarding the incidents that occurred, the death of her good former friend. However, the evidence given by the suspect raised suspicions and caused the interrogation to be continued with further follow-up. As a result, 9-year-old Siti Nur Atira, who is a friend and used to go to the same school with Surya from Form 1 to Form 5, admitted that she arrived at Surya's house at 9 a.m. and killed the victim with the knife on her face and her body. Alright, continue to slide number 4. It is evidence. There is a lot of evidence in this case, which is CCTV, knife, suspect hair sample, blood sample, and fingerprints. One of the very strong evidence was found at the location of the incidents at the victim's house, and this can be proven through CCTV at the birdhouse near to the victim's house. Is recorded footage and show their entry and exit activities at Surya's. In addition, The most relevant evidence in this case is the vegetable knife used by the suspect to stab the victim many times was found on the side of Telemong Road after 3 days. This further strengthened the evidence that related with the suspect in killing the victim because the murder tools was confirmed as a knife used by the suspect to kill the victim, leaving her wrist severed and multiple injuries to her neck and body with a lot of blood flowing in the house. Besides, for the third evidence, there was an injury in Atira's body that we checked, and it is because of struggle and bite on her hand is something that can be taken as evidence showing the physical effects that occur from the murder. Furthermore, the victim's belongings, including mobile phones,
cash, and makeup, as well as the thief of hundreds of ringgit and 2 bags, were found in the suspect's house. After a raid, an investigation was conducted to obtain evidence that can help solve this case
in more details. For slide number 5, which is other evidence, is when forensic police team managed to collect blood samples, fingerprints, and some hair samples in the victim's graves, which increased the likelihood of the murder being committed against the victim, that is the victim's own good friends who was the suspect in the murder. All of those evidence shows that
everything was done in retaliation and dissatisfaction,
being constantly
criticized and ridiculed by the victim just because the suspect was not beautiful and not the same level with her girlfriend.
this provokes and jealousy leads to brutal murder. From another point of view, this murder appears to be an intentional and deliberate murder because the suspect knew that it would cause serious injury, possibly result in death. So, we move on to slide number 6, which is trauma. In this case, the whole family of Surya are still traumatized because of what has happened, including her father, mother, her younger sister, and her brother. The effect from this trauma still make them feel haunted by the scene from the incident every day. The victim's father said that he can still picture the body of Siti or Surya lying on the pool of blood in the living room of their house. And that make him and family have no strength to return to their house in Telemong after the incident. He continued to say that only his son would be able to commuting daily to check on the house and to collect items such as clothes, and no one is willing to spend the night there at the moment. Also, his bride and wife who suffer from brain cancer and witnessed the incident of seeing her daughter be stabbed in front of her often asked where her daughter was after not appearing to take care of her as always. Sad things about this is when the victim's mother is still looking for her daughter despite being told of her death. The trauma that had been through of his bedridden wife put her in a hard time when she keeps recall that the victim has died. And suddenly out of blue she becomes sad and lost in thought. Similar to the victim's younger sister, indescribable feeling after she saw her sister covered in blood. And this experience may have found effect for her to accept about what she saw in front of her eyes. This such a thing could have an impact of her life, and it took time and strength for her to forgive what had happened to her sister. For the last slide, which is 302 Penal Code. An investigator of this case, I think the suspect should be considered be punished under Section 302 Penal Code for murder. The reason why I state the suspect can be punished under Section 302 Penal Code is because from what I have learned, this is also involved mens rea, which is that intent or knowledge that the action would result in death, and actus reus, which involve action or assault resulting in the death of another individual. In this case, the suspect knew that her actions could have resulted in depth. In retrospect, the suspect is often criticized about her poor family and not being on par with the victim. This may be one of the reasons for the suspect to find a way to get revenge with intent on the victim. The suspect's intentions, which is Surya, will continue by breaking into the victim's house, taking some items and money from the house. For actions, which is actor Surya's, here it can be seen through what the suspect did to the victim. If we look in the picture and the body size, the suspect is larger and has strong nature compared to the victim. At that time, there may be a struggle between them because there are traces of wounds and suspect's body and hair sample on the victim's wrist. She also vented her anger by stabbing the victims several times in the neck and body, causing the victim's left wrist to break off and smear blood on the floor without assistance. This is convincing when the suspect, with the intention of reaching for the knife and knowing that the tool that she used is capable of leading to murder. On psychology speaking, if the suspect only wanted to injure the victim, perhaps it could be only one stab found in the victim's body.
But the suspect so many times
As she knew her actions could lead to death. Murder is the unlawful killing of human being with malice aforethought. Based on Penal Code 302, she deserves to be sentenced to death for causing death intentionally. So yeah, this is the end of my part of presentation. So in my opinion, it is a very unlawful things that we can do to our good friend because she is our good friend. So this do not happen to ourselves. So please stay safe. You guys like it, and thank you for watching my case study of Siti Nur Surya. You guys enjoy my presentation. So thank you, sir. Bye bye.